Hello again folks, Peter at Winchester Caravans here. As requested by Russell, we're going to go around caravan once again, but it's going to be one sort of fluid multi-part video. By all means do keep the other videos the workshop have given you, just in case I miss something that they might have said. Right, let's take a look, shall we? So starting at the front of the caravan, we obviously have our stabiliser at the end here. You've got your handbrake and your jockey wheel there. Also at the front, as you can see, we've got the lovely great big storage box, okay? Room for 2 gas bottles, which are tightened and secured there as well, with your bulkhead regulator up there. That's where you attach the gas pipe. Also in there, folks, we have left you a corner steady winder, some waste hose, and your Winchester Caravan's hitch cover. Okay, continuing to move round the outside, we have a few things here. This is where your main water inlet is. As Richard showed in the other video, your aqua roll will sit just outside here, or your main water supply, which then feeds into there. The next bit along is to do with your heating and your boiler. Okay, if you ever want to use either, we need to make sure that that is taken off. Simply lift at the top, and the bottom at the same time, and it will come off. And then moving further along to the left, we have your battery box. Okay, so your battery box, or your battery will sit in there. Obviously just use the 2 quick release clamps to put that on, and make sure you've got your little metal plate there to hold it in place. And over there is where your mains hookup lead goes. Okay, so just behind the wheel, beyond the battery box, we have our wastewater outlets, one for the front, one for the back of the caravan. Just make sure the flaps pull down when you're using that. Moving across, we have our toilet. So toilet fill, or the flush fill, is just here. Pink goes in the top. Make sure you dilute that said pink. Holds about 6-7 litres in there. However, never travel with it with more than a litre inside. And then down below is your cassette. To get the cassette out, we simply lift the yellow flap here and pull. Okay, now, once it's out and it comes to emptying it, again we just twist this to the left, take the cap off and push the yellow button to release the air. And then when you're all done, slide it back inside, like so. If you're struggling to get it out, one thing I would suggest is just go moving inside and making sure that the toilet flap is closed. And lastly, on the outside, we have your wet locker box. It does what it says on the tin. It's a completely sealed unit, accessible from the outside, where you can put wet and or dirty things in there. And just to the left, we have your external 230-volt socket. To the left of this is your barbecue point. It does what it says on the tin. So taking a step inside the caravan now, as soon as you step in, you will see a long thin cupboard. Open that up and you'll have these controls just here. Okay. Over here to the left is sort of how do we want to use our electricity, or 12 volts. We have, if you're using it on the car, so when you're towing, flick it to the top. And then when you're on site, you flick it to the van there. We have our water pump button here, so when you have your aqua roll all set up, you're ready to pump water into the caravan, we flick that one down. Trip switch is just there. And then lastly at the bottom here we have 3 buttons here. We have space heater, water heater on electric, and our battery charger. You are always going to want your battery charger button on. Continuing on the theme of heating and controls, we have 2 more here, just to the left of the door above the fireplace. The top one is your water heater on gas, so when you're ready to use that, just turn this down, so the little knob just is on the fire, and then adjust the temperature of the water accordingly. Beneath is your caravan heating on electric, so once again we have 2 kilowatts, half a kilowatt and 1, and again just adjust the temperature accordingly. And lastly we have the gas fire itself. So if you would like to use your gas on, well, your heating on gas rather, we have this here. So you push this one in, hold it for around 30 seconds and then keep pushing your igniter until it lights. You'll know it's lit as we come to a viewfinder here. You will see the little flame at the back there. On this side of the controls, we have sort of fan speed, as it were. Now you can have it running automatically and then cutting out, or you can have it on manual, adjusting the speed there and just turning it off when you get too hot. When it comes to the kitchen, there's not too much to explain here. Obviously this is your grill and your oven, each one annotated accordingly to its corresponding appliance, and your ignition switch just there. Standard microwave at the top here, and then we have the fridge. Now, as Richard demonstrated in the last video, we simply push this middle button here to turn the fridge on. When it turns on, it will go to its last used setting, so if that was gas at a medium temperature, it will revert back to that. On this side you will have whatever that source of power was, so if it was mains, gas, battery, etc. To change that, you just push this left button to cycle through, and then on the right hand side you'll push that to adjust the temperature. One last thing when it comes to the fridge, just underneath the actual catch you've got this little thing that pops out here, which just tucks inside there. What that does is just leaves the fridge to vent, especially when you're storing it for a long period of time. Into the bathroom, as you can see just in front of us, we have our cassette toilet. The blue button on the top is what you press to flush, and then just down here you'll see the catch to open and close the loo. Okay, there you go, so you can hear that open now and close. As I mentioned earlier, if for whatever reason you're struggling to get the cassette out from the outside, just come and make sure that this is closed. Also up the top here we have a little handy indicator to say when the cassette is full. It will glow red when it is full. And up there is your shower, just simply up and down for pressure, left and right for hot or cold. Okay, so one of the last things of note inside the caravan is this little yellow switch here. This is your drain switch for the boiler tank. Okay, so it's currently closed, so that is fill. So if we were to plug the Ackroll in outside and then click the pump switch just in front of the door, we will start filling the water tank. It's important when we do this, we leave the taps open on cold until we get a steady flow of water. Okay, once get that steady flow, you can close them and you know you can start heating the boiler. When it comes to leaving site, we simply lift the flap up into its drain position and the water will empty out. It's important to make sure that it's down when you're filling, otherwise if it's up like this it'll come straight in and straight back out. Okay folks, thanks for watching. I hope this has been useful. As I say, apologies if I've missed anything, do keep the other videos just in case. A couple more little bits. So in the top drawer here are your handbooks, your radio box and your microwave plate. Talking of radios, just opposite me up top here is your stereo, normal car stereo sort of functions. Down here, just by my legs, we have our PIR sensor for the alarm, and then we've got 230 volt and 12 volt just opposite me. To make the bed up, just down underneath this chest of drawers here, we have this, which you pull out, all the bed slats come out as you can see. Put it all the way to the end of the sofa, use the back cushions as you feel. Your Ackroll and water pump, two hands. Your Ackroll and water pump will be left inside the caravan along with the mains lead and the main pressure switch thing. Obviously, any questions, you know where we are, just give us a call and thanks, or an email. Thank you for bearing with me, I hope this helps, and all the best. Thank you.